Hi, welcome to HATV. I'm Paul Malkmus.
And I'm Ann Malkmus.
And we're here with some special guests today. We're with Jude and Merwyn Larson. And you're from Emmaus, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
And we are really excited. I mean, we were talking a little bit before the show, and you really have an incredible testimony and a healing from cancer. And could you tell us just a little bit about what it was? It was like 10 years ago?
Yes, actually, it was 1999, and I discovered a lump under my arm. I had been on the Atkins diet, and I could not believe that anything would be wrong with me because I had lost 15 pounds. I looked great, I felt great, and it was a big surprise. So the first thing I did was to have that lump removed.
Now, you said that it was the Atkins diet. Why do you think that there was an association?
Well, the Atkins diet is a lot of fat and meat, and it gets stuck in your body and putrefies and just rots you. You literally rot to death.
How long were you on the Atkins diet?
For about 3 months.
That's all?
Wow.
My goodness.
But I had had a sad diet before then. We ate out a lot. We both were professionals, and it's so busy, you just eat out all the time.
That's so common.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
especially when the couples both work.
That's right. And then we had a child, and we fed her kid food, and then we ate the kid food.
It's true.
So it's either junk food or kid food, which is pretty much the same thing.
Junk food is kid food.
That's right.
And so you were on the Atkins diet for 3 months.
Yes, and I was feeling so good about myself, and I could not believe that something negative could come from that. Because
So this lump was cancer.
the lump was cancer. They took the lump out from under my arm, and when they analyzed it, they said, this is cancer. And the surgeon said, well, I'm going to take over your case, and we're going to give you chemotherapy just in case. And I said, just in case what? Do you know what you're doing? Because he was a surgeon, he wasn't an oncologist. And it sort of riled me, and he was a rude surgeon anyway. And I just eventually fired him. And I went to another oncologist, head of oncology at St. Luke's Hospital in Bethlehem. And the great thing about this man was he spent time with me, he was patient with me, and he said, Judy, I don't know what's wrong with you, but whatever it is, you're going to be fine because of your positive attitude.
Wow.
So he was uplifting me from the very beginning, and we're still good friends today. I send people to him, and now he sends people to me.
Wow. That's really
pretty
neat.
neat.
That's a
It is. It's
testament.
very neat.
That's a testament.
Now
It's
you
very
had the
neat.
lump, and actually that stemmed from the cancer that originated in your breast.
That is correct.
My goodness.
So we discovered that, and to discover that the lump was in the breast, we were in a small town. Bethlehem's not a big town. We had to go to Philadelphia to get a PET scan. The PET scan involves having electrons attached to sugar, and then they give you an injection. So it tells me that sugar and cancer loves sugar.
It told you that right there, didn't it?
And it was just amazing. I said, well, I've been eating sugar all my life. I'm a sugarholic.
Yeah, cancer loves sugar and fat.
Exactly.
And with a high-fat diet and consuming sugar, it's a recipe.
And the PET scan proved it.
You know, we went back to the doctor 5 years later, and he didn't tell Judy this, but in the waiting room he told me, you know, Judy should be dead by now.
Really?
And she must have had a miracle happen. So that kind of took me aback, and when I told Judy, she kind of smiled a little bit and said, of course.
You've always been a miracle child, and now there's proof.
So
That's pretty
they
neat.
wanted you to do chemotherapy, and what were your thoughts about chemotherapy?
Well, I went to several different oncologists. The first oncologist, I went into his office, and there was a frail little lady. She was gray, her skin was ash, and she had a pleading look up to her husband, like, please just let me out of here. And I said, I don't want to look like that. So it's like the Three Little Pigs. So you go to the next door. So then I went.
That's a good one. I like that
That was really
one.
cute.
That was very good.
So then you knock on the next oncologist's door and say, do you have anything different? So the next oncologist wanted me to take blood stem cell chemotherapy.
He said, not by the hair of my chin.
And when he explained what it was, he said, well, we take blood out of your body, and then we shoot you with poison, and then we put a little bit of blood back in your body, about a pint. And I said, well, gee, you know, I'm a chemist and I'm also an artist, and it seems like this little dot healing this big body doesn't make as much sense as couldn't you just have the whole body, if you treated it right, heal itself? I never thought of that.
But it wasn't in a textbook.
And then the next three little pigs, knock, knock, knock,
Next oncologist.
was a woman. I thought, oh, wonderful, this woman is going to have some sympathy for me because she's a female, gentility and all of that, being a Southern lady. And she said to me, well, we're going to give you a cocktail of this. And she was like Brunhilde. She was really awful. And she said, we're going to give it to you. We're going to put a port in your neck, and we're going to give you the chemotherapy in there. And I mean, talk about getting it in the neck. Gives it a whole new meaning, right?
Yes.
And I asked her, I said, well, will there be any side effects? Well, you might have heart trouble. You might have liver trouble. You might have, your hair will fall out, of course. You won't be able to digest or go to the bathroom normally.
Pretty normal side
But,
effects.
hey, we have pills for all of that.
In her gentle way.
So in my gentle way, I said, well, now let's just think about something else. Let's have it in my arm instead, because that seems to be a much more genteel
It's not quite the neck.
Exactly. And I said, can I just take it in my arm? And she said, no, because if I put it in your arm, it would melt your artery before it got up your arm. And I said, and you want me to put that in my neck, 8 inches from my brain? I don't think so. So
Did you run out of doors?
we said, goodbye.
So what did you do?
Well, what I did was I had, fortunately, been handed a tape of Dr. Lorraine Day.
Good.
And Dr. Day had a great idea. She had carrot juice and a different lifestyle, which made wonderful sense to me. And as a matter of fact, I had in my background a professor in college that had been a POW in Korea, and he was sent home. He was rescued and sent home by the Army to die. And his mother said, no, I think we can get you well. She had a nurse friend that knew in Wigmore, and she healed him with carrot juice and green juice, which is wheatgrass juice, and I think it's the precursor of barley mix, which is what we're taking today. So I changed my lifestyle, just totally changed everything. I went to the gym every day. I was very intent about it. I would get up in the morning at 5 o'clock so we could go together to the gym. And I went to the gym every day.
Great supporter.
Fabulous supporter.
That's wonderful.
He said at one point, he said, if you go bald, I'll shave my head, to give you the kind of idea, the
that
kind of
he
guy
has.
that he is.
You're right.
And I just thank God for him as a miracle.
Wow.
Just his support is a miracle.
So you're cancer free,
Yes, I am.
and how is your life now? I mean,
Fabulous.
yes.
You said you changed your life. That include going to the gym. You said you did deep breathing exercises. Did you actually change your stress and how you manage your stress too?
I did. I meditated every day.
Okay, good.
Okay, you've been without cancer for 10 years. Are you afraid of cancer now? Do you think
No.
it's coming back?
No, the reason I'm not afraid of cancer is I know what cancer is. Cancer is an anaerobic cell. Dr. Otto Warburg in 1931 won a Nobel Prize discovering and publishing this information. But the doctors don't share that. I love my doctors, but they don't share information that we really need to have to understand the mechanism of what we're doing with our bodies. So we know how, now we've learned how to be alkaline in our bodies, how to cleanse our bodies from all the toxins, and that just puts us on the high road.
Yeah. It's incredible. Here you had cancer and you're not afraid of the future. And it's all because
I'm not,
you just changed
because
how
the
you
future
eat.
is very, very bright, and I will be making my own story of this and publishing this.
I'm sure
I
you
can't
will.
wait.
I can't either.
Thank
Well,
you
thank
so
you.
much. Yes, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
sharing
having
with us
us.
today.
Thank you
Yes,
so
baby.
much for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show today, and thank you for joining us here on HATV. You know, cancer doesn't have to be one of those things that scares us, that we have to be afraid of. We just need to learn how to properly care for this body that God's created. Until next time, this is AM and PM, and we'll see you on HATV.